Hi guys, Helena here from One Agency. We're filming live from our office in East Gosford, which was recently voted the #1 agency for both East and North Gosford via Rate My Agent. Today we have a really special guest, so I'm really honoured to introduce Leanne Pilkington, who's the President of the Real Estate Institute of New South Wales. She's always been so gracious with her time and willing to share her knowledge with us. So thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So Leanne's been doing the roadshow for the Real Estate Institute of New South Wales, and what that involves is going around to different regions and doing professional development with real estate agents and agencies. Leanne, what are some of the trends, the market trends that you've noticed and other agents have been reporting to you?
Definitely the market across the state is the strongest I've ever seen. And I've been in the industry for 40 years and I've never seen a market like this. And what's amazing is the consistency of the market across not just Sydney, but all of the regions.
Right.
Everywhere, we're all experiencing very similar conditions all at the same time, which is unusual.
Very good. So very strong conditions across the board, across New South Wales, a strong market.
And definitely the regional areas are just benefiting from everybody realising during COVID that we don't have to actually go into the office every single day, that we can work remotely, and people are thinking, right, I don't need to live in the city anymore. So they're coming to the Central Coast, they're going out to Dubbo, they're going to Wollongong, they're going everywhere just to try and get that better lifestyle, which is really, it's incredible.
That's right. We have noticed a lot of buyers from Sydney, and most recently realestate.com.au announced the Central Coast region as the most highly searched regional area with Sydney metro buyers. How do you see that changing after COVID?
I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. You've seen really strong price increases on the coast. You've seen really low vacancy rates, which obviously means rents will rise as well. And I don't think it's going to change anytime soon because people are realising that they can live anywhere and still hold on to the job that they love. So the Central Coast, I think, will continue to benefit.
Yeah, I think we've got the best of both worlds on the coast. So you have got that easy commute to the city, but you've also got that lovely coastal lifestyle.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Great place to live.
Sure is. So, Leanne, for the month of May, the advertised prices in Sydney rose by 6.1%. And the research showed there was little discounting for that month, or the month of May. Buyers were prepared to pay that 6% extra. The auction clearance rates, I've been in the industry just over 15 years. Last weekend, the auction clearance rates were 92%. I've never seen them so high. And it is a 24-year high as well, those auction clearance rates. When do you see it slowing down? At what point does caution set in and the buyers are sort of not prepared to pay those prices?
Yeah, it's a great question. We've been seeing above 80% clearance rates since the end of January.
Yeah.
So it's been consistently really strong. There's been a lot of conversation around what's going to stop it.
Yes.
Interest rates are not going to stop it. Interest rates are going to remain low for quite some time. I think what will slow it down, and we've actually seen, even though clearance rates are still high, we've seen that frenzy ease off a little bit just in the last couple of weeks. And that's because some of the buyer demand has been satisfied over the last 6 months or so. And also vendors' expectation of price is starting to increase. And so the frenzy is just slowing down. But I still think we're going to have really strong market conditions throughout 2021. I don't think it's going to change.
I think so too. So the RP data statistics show that real estate agents are preparing a significantly higher amount of appraisals than normal. And predictions are that this is going to result in more stock on the market. Myself personally, I believe this stock will come on the market in spring. What's your prediction for stock levels?
Stock levels are increasing pretty much week on week. We've seen the auction numbers in particular going up every week. And that's because vendors are able to get prices that they just couldn't even imagine 6 or 12 months ago. So they are capitalising on that. And I definitely agree we will see more coming on towards spring. It's just going to continue.
Right. And do you see when those stock levels increase that the market will plateau, or what do you think will happen there?
Supply and demand is what it's all about,
Yes.
right? So we've had low supply and high demand. That demand is starting to taper off because it's being fulfilled.
Yes.
As supply continues, it will stabilise the market. I don't see any major changes, but I do see that the market conditions will stabilise.
And what great timing to have you here with the budget last night, just released. What are some of the incentives and different schemes that are out there for first home buyers and the like?
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the economy in general. I think it was a really exciting budget for the economy and for jobs moving forward, which is great for all of us. But specifically from a real estate perspective, excuse me if I have to read this because it was only last night, we have had the establishment of a family home guarantee, and that's all about single parents being able to buy property with only a 2% deposit. So that's great news, I think. The extension of the new home guarantee, and so that is another 10,000 places where people can buy with a 5% deposit. Those places fill up really quickly though, so if it's something that you want to do, you need to make sure you get the application filled out as soon as you possibly can. And they've increased the access to super. So previously we could access $30,000 of our super, or first home buyers could, to buy their first home, and now they've increased that up to $50,000.
Okay, so you've got a incentive for single parent families to buy with a 2% deposit, an extra 10,000 places for first home buyers to buy with a 5% deposit, and you can also access up to $50,000 of your super to put down as a deposit. As you said, what an exciting time.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And it is, we've seen how many first home buyers have been in the market in the last 12 months because of all the incentives that the government have had during and after COVID. So I think if people are keen to get into the market, they should absolutely explore every opportunity and take advantage of these incentives.
I agree. How have you seen the unit market differ to the housing market?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. It's really interesting. The unit market, and it depends on where you are. If you are around the universities and some of those places, we don't have the foreign students. And so that has had a massive impact on vacancy rates, which impacts rents, which then impacts values.
Yes.
So whilst everywhere else is increasing significantly, if you own a unit around the universities in areas like Parramatta and Kensington, Kingsford, those sorts of places, there's definitely been a decline. And of course, the issues that we've had with Opal Tower and some of the other concerns around the construction of units has definitely had an impact on the sales and on prices.
Right, okay. And is that specifically just to areas of Sydney, or what do you think about the unit market on the Central Coast?
You tell me, what do you think of the unit market on the Central Coast?
Look, we are seeing that demand from Sydney. So people who are being either priced out of Sydney or missing out on options in Sydney that are, or even just people trying to get into the market that might have been priced out of the housing market. We are seeing, increased buys through our units on the Central Coast. It's increased amount of buyers, but it's not that same frenzy on houses, but we are having, good turnout at open homes for units on the Central Coast. Okay, so I just wanted to touch on rentals. I personally have noticed rentals are staying on the market just that little bit longer, just over the last 3 weeks for rental properties on the Central Coast. What are you seeing out there?
Yeah, that's interesting that you say that. It does depend on where you are, but everywhere does seem just a little bit to come. The demand seems to have come off just marginally in comparison to maybe a month or two ago.
Okay, so you're seeing the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And I've noticed a lot of investors out there in the marketplace, I guess with all these incentives and different things. What do you think will happen to stock levels rental-wise?
Yeah, another really good question. What we're finding across the market, as I've been going around on the roadshow, a lot of our members are telling us that a lot of their landlords are actually selling.
Yes.
And so they're capitalising on the price increases, which makes perfect sense. Up until recently, investors haven't been back in the market. they've been selling mainly to owner occupiers, so
Right.
they're coming out of that rental market. But if you had a look at the numbers just last week, the investor finance numbers were up by 13%. And so that demonstrates what you've said. You're seeing more investors just creeping back into the market now, which is good news.
Yeah. So I guess as investors sell and capitalise, you've also got that stock being replenished with investors who are purchasing. So do you think we'll just have stability there?
Yeah, I don't know. I think, again, it depends on the area. And so investment sounds like it's going well in the Central Coast, but I think that there are people exiting the Sydney investment market and maybe they're heading up your way.
Most definitely. Well, I just wanted to thank you so much for your time. I consider it to be a privilege sharing time with you and gaining knowledge from you. I've always enjoyed our interviews, and I've had really good feedback from our clients and purchasing community, Facebook community, that have really enjoyed these. We usually do Zoom, today we got to speak face to face, so that was a real treat. So I just wanted to thank you so much for your time. It's been a real pleasure.
Yeah, it's lovely to actually be able to do this face to face. So thanks a lot for the opportunity.
Thank you.